Welcome to Young Farmer. I'm Tashlin Lowe, and today we're super excited to introduce you to Ntokozo Ngcamu, a 22-year-old dairy farmer originally from Kokstad, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, who is now making waves in Mainstay, Shropshire, England. Ntokozo serves as the second in command on a 300-cow organic dairy farm where he utilizes a New Zealand-inspired grazing system to produce cheese. His passion for agriculture began early, starting in the 7th grade when he began working on friends' farms back in Kokstad. Ntokozo, it is such a pleasure having you onto the show. Welcome. We're so excited to have you and conversate with you. Please, can you tell us more about yourself?
Oh yeah, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor. Basically just like you said, just a young 22-year-old from Kokstad in South Africa, all the way in Mainstay. Just milking cows, just trying to do the best we can. It's pretty much about me. What you've described is pretty good.
Lovely, Ntokozo. It is so interesting for me to hear you all the way in Mainstay, like you say, just milking cows. But what motivated you to become a dairy farmer at such a young age?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to meet a young farmer by the name of St. Simpson when I was in the 8th grade back at home in Kokstad. And he basically just took me in under his wing because I was very interested in the farming industry and I just wanted to get some work done, earn a little bit of money. But as I got to learn more in the industry, I really fell in love with it. Just the demanding nature of dairy is really what drew me closer to it, and obviously just how dairy itself can be a mixed farming operation, and there's just always so much to do, and you're always learning every day. So I really grew into it and really fell in love with it and decided to pursue it.
Absolutely. And like you said, I don't think the demand for cheese or milk would ever die out of fashion, because who doesn't like some cheese or milk? But in the process of it, Ntokozo, what challenges did you face as a young dairy farmer, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, look, that's a very vast question, but just growing up in a small town, I got to be out on the farm a lot, I got to miss out on sort of my teenage years, if I can say, but I wouldn't call it missing out in a way as well, because I gained so much experience and I was doing something that I love. So basically just being so young and taking up a role and in the community as well as in businesses, just trying to lead and to showcase your skill and your knowledge has been a bit of a challenge just because I'm so young. But just obviously showing that, listen, I want to do this thing, I know what I'm doing and I'm willing to work hard, is really been a way to overcome most of these challenges and to continuously be proving myself worthy of where I am and where I want to be.
Absolutely. And also just hearing from how you talk about it, it does take a lot of mental strength for you to tell yourself that even though I'm young, I have to push through and go forward. So how did you manage the daily responsibilities of running a dairy farm?
Oh, look, it takes a lot of effort, sweat, and some tears, definitely. Every dairy farm is different. I've managed in different farms in South Africa and coming up to the UK. But every dairy farm is different, and so everyone has their own system as to how they go about it. But it's really a matter of making sure that you've planned well, you know exactly what you're trying to achieve with the business and what you're trying to achieve with the cows and what you're doing, as well as your staff. And so basically just making sure that I'm prepared, and planning ahead always, and just being efficient is very, very important as well, efficiency with your time and just, management styles. So yes, it's such a vast question. You'd have to be a lot more specific about the daily management of stuff, because there's different ways to go about everything.
No, no, don't worry. I think you answered us spot on. And then you did mention that there are obviously different systems in this whole process and how to deal and manage the farm. And we then also have different aspects that we bring forth that helps with the management of the farm. So what role does technology play in your dairy farming processes and practices?
Sure. Technology is such a crucial part of what we do, because it makes our lives so much easier. Working with big herds of cows. You're milking 1,500 cows in 4 hours or 5 hours. With the help of technology. Whereas back in the day, if you had to start milking, it would take ages for you to end up finishing milking cows. But yeah, it's made our lives so much easier in terms of management. So, we can track cows' health using technology. We can check fertility. We can check various things just using technology, as well as just the actual milking itself. Because now we're not milking by hands like people used to do in the day. We have milking machines, and that really helps us just be able to gather data and be able to run our businesses more efficiently and productively. So yeah, it's really been good. I mean, today I went to a farm visit, and the guys are using robots, and I looked at that and I thought, yes, this is pretty cool. You don't have an actual person just milking the cows. The cows are going to the actual machine to get milked, which was really cool to me to see.
That is so interesting. I would never think that we are already in the age where robots are being used to milk our cows. So very, very interesting. But we do talk about efficiency when it comes to the business in the dairy farm and so forth. But we never want to overlook also the animals and their well-being. So during the process and the practices of the dairy farm, how do you ensure the health and well-being of your dairy cattle?
Yeah, so like I said, we track each cow's data on a daily basis. So we've got the kind of technology in dairy that helps us to be able to see exactly what each cow is doing on a daily basis. It helps us to be able to monitor them and be able to spot cows' health, from the tip of your fingers, on your phone. So it's basically just a thing of making sure that you are looking at the cows on a daily basis. You're watching the signals that they're showing you, as well as educating yourself is very, very important in what you're doing. So for me personally, I'm always researching and making sure that I'm trying to learn as much as I can about animal health, about husbandry. How can I better the cow condition and their health. So yeah, like I said, and then we've got vets that help us, friendly vets, local vets that help us with health issues and stuff like that. And that's very, very important part of what we do.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, there's always things or new advancements that we need to learn about and seek forth. I mean, you spoke about them being robots now, helping us milk our cows, or just better technology or uses in which we can protect our cows and our dairy cattle. So how do you stay informed about the latest advancements in dairy farming techniques?
Yeah, so it's something that I've really enjoyed about being in the UK. We've got groups of young farmers actually, that get together on a weekly basis or fortnightly basis, and then we get together and we share ideas about what everyone else is doing and how our herds are doing. So yeah, that's one part of it, and going to events about different shows is one way. And I listen to podcasts. There's a really good Canadian podcast called actually the Canadian Podcow. So guys in Canada really just talking about everything dairy. So yeah, that's really helped, and that's how I stay informed, and just doing, regular research. Just the smallest thing, there's someone that has always researched something, and that's something that I've really found, especially in our industry. The researchers are really doing well in different countries, and so it really helps us to be able to monitor our cows and our health, and as well as keep ourselves informed.
Amazing, Ntokozo. And also, you were talking about like gathering information, or just like gathering insight. Is there anything in particular that you're studying to enhance your knowledge on dairy farming, the cows, the technology around it? Is there anything in particularly that you are studying?
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. No, I've done quite a bit of courses in my last couple of years that have really helped me. So I'm not studying something in particular, but it's just just always trying to find something that's interesting. And so it's a matter of asking guys how they're doing. Reading stuff about different farms, and yeah, just going on the internet.
Yeah, definitely, we hear you. And then tell me, Ntokozo, if you had an opportunity to ask for any kind of assistance for your farm, what would you ask for?
Sure. It's always as much as businesses make money, but a business will always need money, and if you can get funding, that's the best thing some people can do for you. So yeah, it would be grants, to say grants, so that we can improve our herd, improve our technology as well. Yes, that would really make a difference. But also just more support from people that have walked this path, to say, hey, listen, this is how we're going about this, and just people be able to come and see what we're doing, or people let us be able to come and see what they're doing, so that we can enhance our knowledge.
Definitely, and I think you raised and you touched on a very good point, and I think this is why on Young Farmers we have this type of conversation, because if we can have the veterans in the dairy farming industry to come on board and help our young farmers, motivate them, apply knowledge and skill, I think it does create the difference, and with the support that you are talking about, because it is definitely needed for you guys to thrive. So tell me on, I think cows are the cutest. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. So do you keep any one of your cows as a pet? I just need to know.
Well, no, to be honest with you, no. I think once you get too attached, it'll be very difficult for you to let that particular animal go. For me personally, we work with big numbers, and so if you're going to get attached to one cow, it'll be very emotional when they have to leave, because obviously they don't live forever. And we as time goes on, new cows come into the herd, and so keeping cows as pets has never really been a thing for me. I just don't want to get too attached, because I always just say I love them equally, and that's basically just me.
Best way to describe it, we would always say, to avoid attachment, do not name them or do not look at them twice. So I get it. And then, Ntokozo, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in the dairy farming industry and being a dairy farmer?
Yeah, look, in the next 5 years, I'd like to be in a director's position. Yeah, whether I'm directing my own place or whether I'm directing someone else's place, but you can only, personally, I believe that you can only do so much for someone. It's very good for people with the right knowledge and ambition to be able to do their own stuff. So yeah, for me, it's to be back in South Africa and directing a business, whether it's mine or it's someone else's. So yeah, that's the plan for me.
We love that, bringing it back home to South Africa, and we'll welcome you back with open arms when you do come, so don't worry. And then Ntokozo, what is the most funniest moment? I can just imagine with the cows. Cows are, I think, are like one of the most interesting animals that we do have out there. What are the most funniest moments you've experienced on the farm?
Oh, sure. I can't think of something at the top of my head right now because there's just so many, and then at just different levels of funny. But yeah. I got charged at by a bull the one time, and we were working bulls, and I got charged at by a big Angus bull, and I think the space in between the cattle crawls must have been, I don't know, maybe 35 centimeters wide. I do not know how I got through there, but I managed to fly through there. And by the time I got to the other side, the rest of the guys that I was working with were on the floor just hosing themselves, because yes, I just don't know how I got through there. But it's just one of those. But there's so many things. It's one of the funniest things I find on farm is when someone gets shocked by an electric fence. I mean, I'm sorry, it might be sore, but it's one of the funniest things just to see how someone, reacts to that static electricity.
Absolutely, Ntokoza. Listen, I think the South African came out in you when that bull charged, because I would also find a way to move and maneuver. No bull is going to bulldozer me off the ground. So, what advice do you have for any young farmers who would like to join the agricultural space or migrate like you have, because I know that it always comes with challenges. And if they are sitting and watching and wondering how, what type of advice would you give them being a young dairy farmer all the way in a different country and pursuing your dreams actually?
Yeah, look, I think the best thing is to get yourself out there, put your name out there, get yourself known, introduce yourself to people, and we are so lucky that we've got social media now. People need to reach out to each other, reach out to that one person that you really look up to. Reach out to that person that inspires you. Send them a message on Instagram or Facebook, whatever the case is. Send them a message and say hi. This is who I am. This is what I'd like to do. And I think guys are pretty friendly out here. I try to be as friendly as I can and answer as many messages as I can. But yeah, that's what I would say. That's the first part. People that want to farm. Listen, if there's a farm nearby, go out there, introduce yourself and say, I would like to learn, can you please, teach me what you guys are doing here? Even if you're just observing, sometimes it's okay to volunteer, because I think the first week when I started working, I was probably 13 years old or something like that. The first week I worked for free because I said I was volunteering, and then they're like, oh, well, this guy is pretty handy, we'll give him a little bit of something. So yeah, that's one way to go about it. And for guys that are thinking about going to study, go for it. Having a certificate or having a qualification is very advantageous in this industry. You never know who you're going to meet in uni or at college. You never know which placement you're going to get or where you're going to get the placement for your in-service trainings and stuff like that. And that's how you start connecting. For people that are not sure about going to university, personally, I always just say to people, go out and get hands-on experience first. Especially if you've got no experience in the industry, go out, get hands-on experience, get dirty, see how it is going, and then you can sort of ascertain whether you really want to get into the industry, and then you just take it from there, whether you want to pursue it or not. For people that have all of that stuff done or sorted already, and perhaps would like to go abroad, there's agencies that help people find placements overseas. depending on what you wanting to do. So it would just be a matter of researching agencies that provide placements overseas, agricultural placements, to be more specific, because there's so many scams out here anyway. But also do not underestimate the power of just being friends with someone, because that's how I got here. I spoke to a friend of mine and he referred me to someone, and that's how I got out here. So talk to people that are out and about, and get connected, and then just take it from there.
Ntokozo, thank you so much for that sound advice. I do know that any young farmers out there watching has been inspired and will take that sound advice and run with it. So Ntokozo, if we would like to connect with you, on which social media platform, your email address, how does one connect with you?
I think Instagram is probably the best option. It's just follow me at Katini_the Hun Handler on Instagram, and pop me a message, have a look at my videos and my posts, and then let's just start chatting. I'm available on Facebook as well at Ntokozo Ngcamu, as well as LinkedIn at Ntokozo Ngcamu as well. So by all means, send out the messages and I'll try my best to get to as much as possible of them.
Ntokozo, thank you so much for joining us. We are so happy to have had you on the show, and I know that our young farmers who are watching this feel so inspired from what they had to hear from you today, and if they are thinking of migrating and that type of a thing. Thank you so much. I am your host, Tashlin. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and until the next episode, bye.